Good morning. We'll go ahead and begin with roll call.
Holm,
Here.
Hawkinsmith,
Here.
Connolly,
Here.
Altringer,
Here.
McCoy.
Here. Action on the minutes from the previous meeting.
Move to approve?
Second.
Roll call.
Holm,
Yes.
Hawkinsmith,
Yes.
Connolly,
Yes.
Altringer,
Yes.
McCoy.
Yes. Any special claims?
None.
Action on the bill list is submitted by the county auditor. Roll call.
Holm,
Yes.
Hawkinsmith,
Yes.
Connolly,
Yes.
Altringer,
Yes.
McCoy.
Yes. This time we'll stand for the pledge. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. At this time, we'll go ahead and consider the public hearing.
This is for disposal of county interest in real estate.
Is proof of publication on file?
Yes.
Is there anyone wishing to speak on this issue? Hearing none, I would entertain a motion.
Move to close?
Second. Second.
Roll call?
So we've closed the hearing. Was that a motion on the resolutions?
Yes.
Motion on the resolutions?
Yes.
This is for numbers 6 and 7, resolutions approving quitclaim deeds to vacant parcel at 1107 Fillmore Street to Ruth Bodensteiner and Harriet J. Enos. Holm,
Yes.
Hawkinsmith,
Yes.
Connolly,
Yes.
Altringer,
Yes.
McCoy.
Yes.
The next public hearing is on disposal of county interest in real estate.
Is proof of publication on file?
Yes.
Is there anyone wishing to speak to this item? Hearing none, I'll go ahead and close the hearing and ask for a motion.
I'll move it.
Second?
Roll call?
Holm,
Yes.
Hawkinsmith,
Yes.
Connolly,
Yes.
Altringer,
Yes.
McCoy.
Yes.
Next public hearing is on vacation of road right-of-way.
Is proof of publication on file?
Yes.
Is there anyone wishing to speak to this item? Hearing none, I'll close the hearing and ask for a motion.
So moved?
Move.
Second.
Roll call?
Holm,
Yes.
Hawkinsmith,
Yes.
Connolly,
Yes.
Altringer,
Yes.
McCoy.
Yes. We're at that point in the meeting where we'll hear public comments. Is there anyone wishing to address the board this morning? Please come forward. State your name and your address, and feel free to address the board. Good morning. I think so. Is the microphone on? Oh,
Thank you. How's this?
perfect.
My name's Tracy Lepeltak. I live at 9164 Canyon Street in West Des Moines. And I want to thank you guys for the opportunity to speak with you briefly, I promise, about a program that's near and dear to my heart. It's the PATH program at Broadlawns, and it's my hope that the Board of Supervisors can work together with Broadlawns to find a way to keep this program open during difficult economic and social times. I think that you'll find that it's money well spent, and it directly serves the residents of Polk County. I can speak to the impact of PATH that it has made both professionally and personally. I've been a counselor in the Des Moines School District for 41 years, and in my work with children, I frequently find that family issues are the pervasive concern in helping a child be successful. If a family member is struggling with mental health or addiction, the child struggles as well. Children often carry the burdens of their family with them to school, and sometimes the children don't even come to school because the disruptions at home are so overwhelming. For families, there's really nowhere to turn, or if they have exhausted all of the avenues to them, it's very difficult. The struggle to find appropriate treatment programs that fit the needs due to the variety of reasons is barely there. PATH is an invaluable program that provides wraparound services for clients. PATH uses a team approach, which has proven to be a more efficient way to meet all the needs of their clients. They have small caseloads, and consequently, their clients have fewer hospital stays, which not only saves money, but it allows the clients to progress more quickly through their treatment plan. PATH assists their clients with housing, food, employment, healthcare, and therapeutic, as well as the therapeutic services. And in my experience of trying to find help for families of my students, PATH is one of the very few that is a program that treats the whole person. My personal experience with PATH involves the tremendous services they provided my adult son over a period of several years. My son had mental health issues surrounding the death by suicide of his dad, my husband. His method of coping with crisis was to self-medicate, and consequently he became addicted to alcohol. He went from being a young man with a business degree from University of Iowa, taking his first job at IBM in Chicago, to someone who was a person struggling to live and have money to buy food and find a place to live in a very short period of time. The first time I went to treatment, it cost $30,000, and I had to take out a home equity loan to pay for it. But that private treatment had no aftercare. It wasn't long before he was back in a cycle of depression and anxiety and alcoholism. The cycle repeated itself, and he came in and out of my life many times in the next few years. The same sweet, kind-hearted, bright young man was still inside, but he was always surrounded by the negative cloud of mental health and addiction. Even with my counselor training as a mom, I had a difficult time knowing the right way to help him. Then, through the timely intervention of an absolutely fantastic doctor at Broadlands, my son was introduced to the PATH program. These wonderful people out here. Through a series of evaluations, assessments, and interviews, my son was assigned to a terrific team at PATH. He received assistance with housing, groceries, transportation, and mental health services, and he had a safe place to live. My son always had a strong work ethic, and with the guidance of PATH, he was able to start his own lawn care business. And he even hired other PATH clients to work for him. He was never afraid of hard work, but PATH did not give him a free ride. He had to contribute his own money to help pay for rent. He had to be part of the solution to get better, which is exactly what you want for someone in his situation. And one of the coolest things that PATH did was that they were able to get him a comfort dog who was his best friend for the rest of his life. PATH empowered my son. They did not enable him. PATH has never been about giving free handouts. PATH is about giving tools to its clients. PATH was so much. I would go on, but I know that's a time limit here. But of all the wonderful things that PATH did for my son, the most important thing they did was to give him dignity and pride. I remember the day he handed me his business card for his new lawn care service. He was so proud and smiling from ear to ear, and it was a big smile because his ears stuck out really far, and so the smile had to go that much farther out. Over the years of the alcohol abuse, before he joined PATH, my son had done a lot of systemic damage to his body, and he had numerous medical interventions, which his team helped him with every single time. He still kept working when he was able to, and many days would work even when he was barely able to walk. Sadly, the years of alcohol abuse caused him to have major organ failure, and he passed away at the age of 36. Some might say, well, this isn't a success story, and I would say they are wrong. Excuse me. PATH gave my son dignity and a will to keep fighting. They empowered him to make his own decisions and matched him with resources he would have never been able to access on his own. In addition, PATH team members helped me to continue a relationship with my son and taught me how to do it. PATH gave me the understanding of my son and the ability to relate to him in a mutually helpful way. And my son died knowing that he was loved and had people that cared so much for him, and to me that is a gift. So in finishing, I would say when I gave my son's eulogy at his funeral, I was open and honest about the trials in his life, but I was also able to inform people about the wonderful services that PATH provided. As a result, many individuals and businesses made several $1,000s in donations to PATH. And it was determined that the very best way to memorialize my son was to build a memorial garden that would provide teaching opportunities to the clients and peaceful place for clients to visit with their families, and fresh produce for the clients to take home. I have some pictures for each of you that we'll pass out to you just to show you how beautiful it is. The garden is located at the PATH office, along with a beautiful mural painted by a well-known Des Moines artist, and it's hanging on the wall behind the garden, and I would love for you to visit it sometimes. So you see, I do have an extra personal reason for keeping PATH open. I would hate to lose this garden and all of the opportunities it provides, both emotionally and nutritionally. Please consider working with Broadlawns to keep this fantastic place and program open so that many other clients can find dignity and pride that my son and I received. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for your courageous words this morning. We appreciate it. Good morning.
My name is Jimmy Autry. Last thing I remembered, I was in Omaha, Nebraska, carrying some books to a used bookstore in the old market because I needed to get some money for some vodka. I've struggled with mental health issues since childhood and addiction since the early spring of 1972. My mother had her own severe depression problems, and I discovered her. I was coming home every day from school putting a gun to my head, and there were plenty of them around the house. And I discovered her liquor cabinet, and I discovered her medicine cabinet soon after. And initially that gave me my solution at that time. And anyway, I was in Omaha, Nebraska, carrying some books to a used bookstore in the old market to try and raise a little money to buy a pint of vodka. And that's the last thing I remember. The next thing I remember, I was in the car with my father on the way to Topeka, Kansas to go to a psychiatric hospital. And then somehow I ended up in the PATH program. Some of you might know my family. My stepmother, Sally Peterson, was the Lieutenant Governor of Iowa under Bill's. The PATH program essentially saved my life. My family finally got smart enough, and they cut me off because you can only throw so much money at a problem that I had. You know, the 12-step groups are a necessity. They're part of this multi-leg stool that my life depends on. And PATH is definitely one of the legs of that stool. They kept me alive long enough to get what I needed to get, and they continue to be in my life. Some of you might have saw me on live television waving a shotgun out the window in an apartment building. A SWAT team was there with the police department, and I eventually kind of realized I should surrender. My current AA sponsor's son was the head of he ran the SWAT teams in Des Moines, so it's a small world. It's a little too damn small sometimes, but that's kind of the way it goes. And Path made it clear that I was a mental health problem, and they did not send me to prison, which I probably should have, but I wouldn't have survived that. And they sent me to yet another psychiatric hospital. And you would have thought that would have been my bottom, but I had a lot longer to go. And the Path kept me alive long enough to get to where I finally got to. And then one day, I was living in the Bethel Mission, which is a good place. And my sponsor took me to Marty Scarpino at the Jesse Embers, and he said, they were old high school buddies, and he said, give this guy a job. And I was working there. And apparently, doing what I needed to do, taking care of my mental health. The PATH program helped me get me a job at the flower shop they once ran. They kept me alive. That's all there was to it. And one day, Julie Leffler called me up and said, well, how would you like to work for PATH? And I said, doing what? I don't have a college. I went to college a couple of times, but I don't have a college degree. I've never worked in an office before. I spent most of my life either doing temp work or restaurant work, or I spent about 15 years on the road with a rock and roll band, and so I really wasn't qualified to do much else in those things. And they said, we want you to be a peer support. So, and what the people at PATH do, these caseworkers, is they go into the trenches, because they go into a place that AI and email and the phones and virtual visits can't go. Those are all useful tools, but a guy like me needs somebody, knocking on my door and going, Jim, you got to get out of bed. You got to take a shower. You got to take you to a doctor appointment today. I get Julie Leffler calls me up and says, Jim, what are you doing? Well, I'm going to go to work today, and I don't really feel like seeing you much because I don't really like people that much anyway. And she said, I'll be over in 20 minutes. And that's the kind of help that the PATH gives to these people. And so anyway, I kind of came out of that dark hole and joined the living, and that's kind of my job as a peer support. My main advantage is when someone says, well, look, I used to cut up under my arms when I got real drunk. I go, well, me too, do you know what it's like to be so depressed you can't identify colors? I go, yes, I do. You know what it's like to wake up and not want to drink, but have to? And I say, yes, I do. So that's what the peer support does at the PATH program. But I never would have made it that far without them. And I'm going to tell you, that memorial garden, I knew Steve. It's beautiful. It's a beautiful garden. But we don't need more of them. And I think that we'll get more of them if something like PATH doesn't keep going, if some program like that doesn't keep going. And a lot of people out there don't have the families that love them like Steve did, or my family. Don't have the resources of my family. My family would be able to build me a monument if they wanted to. A lot of these people are just going to disappear, end up in jail, prisons, die in a homeless camp. Anyway, that's the gist of what I have to share with you today.
Thanks, Jim.
I owe PATH my life.
Appreciate it, Jim. Thank you for your comments. Yes.
Hi, I'm Danita Anderson, and I live at 15 Southeast 14th Street. I'm here because I'm sorry, but I've been in PATH since I was 18 years old. I didn't have nobody, and Julie and one of the other workers came to my door. I was in mainstream at the time. I didn't trust nobody. I didn't care. I didn't want nobody to bother me. I was an independent person. And they came on my door. And they wanted to work with me. At first, I was like, no. And then, I don't remember the other lady's name, but she moved to Florida. But Julie came in my life. I didn't want to work with her at first. I didn't really like her. But I love her now. But anyways, but she's been there for me, and Pat's been there for me for 26 years. I've been in the program since I was 18 years old. Through hardships, through my drug addiction, through losing my kids, termination of my kids, I could have went downhill and fast, but I didn't. They stuck by me through everything. I was, sorry, I had notes, but I was hurrying to get over here. They stuck by me. They got me a payee, and several jobs. I even worked for the Broad Lawns Path flower shop. I was a manager there, but they sadly closed. And Path has worked through me with everything. So present day, now that I'm still in Path, I work at Walmart. I have my own payee now because of Path. When my dad died, I could have had nothing. I tried to kill myself and ended up in Broad Lawns, but Path stuck by my side. It told me it's gonna be okay, Danita. And when my mom left me, she told me that because you have Path, you're gonna be fine. You're not gonna need me, which I still need my mom, but they've been there for me, and I'd have nobody. And I want to say is that one of the best programs I've ever worked with, and I've trusted with everything, where they helped so many people. They helped me when I could have been I was homeless so many times, and they helped me get out of that. I consider them more like a family, even though they're my workers, and they're supposed to help people, and they do help people. I consider them my family, because that's all I have is the Path. When I need something, they're there. When I don't need something, they're there. And all the struggles of my life, they're the only ones that actually stood by my side no matter what. No matter what. And I appreciate everything they have done for me since I was 18 years old. And I hope that you guys understand that people need this program more than anything. There's so much mental health struggles out here in this world that they need somebody. And Path is a good program. People relate to them. They understand them. And I know several of my other friends, other people that are on Path, they would love to see this program stay and help anybody. And I really hope that you guys consider that this is one of the best programs for Broad Lawns and to keep the help for mental health people, because we need it. We really need it. Okay, that's all I have to say.
Thank you.
My name is Annie, and I live at 44 41st Street.
Can you step up a little
sorry.
more where we not to hear you?
My name is Annie, and I live at 44 41st Street in Des Moines. PATH is a wonderful program. It stands for Positive Alternatives to the Hospital. As we know, keeping clients and people out of the hospital benefits the individuals, their families, and communities, and saves money. The services we provide, or they provide, are to help clients with their coping skills, find employment, learn to budget their money, engage in the community, and overall become self-sufficient. We have activities of helping our clients attend appointments, engage in the community, walk at Grays Lake. One example that the program provided services, I'll call this person Jane. This person has mental health. They faced a major life crisis in 2024. This person had had a job for 10 years. They had a manic episode. They mistakenly signed up for the Medicare Advantage program, which did not cover their medication. They were not eligible for Medicaid prior to their employment, yet she needed this medication to help her. The PATH program helped cover the cost of the medication for 3 months. This was needed as she became better with the help of the PATH program. After getting the help with the medication, she was able to find employment and return to a positive life. Please continue to fund this program. These clients need them to become more self-sufficient, find employment, be active in the community, and have someone there to help them. I feel if this program is eliminated, who's gonna help them? Who's gonna be there they're gonna be homeless, they're gonna die, who knows? Like, the people that are in the program need us, need the workers to be there, to help support during their doctor appointments, to be their advocate, to help them fill out paperwork, to be there. If we're not there, who's gonna do it? No one's gonna help them. They're gonna be on the street. So I really hope that you consider to fund this program. Thank you.
Thank you. Morning.
Good morning. Hi, my name is Julie Leffler. I reside at 152 56th Street, West Des Moines. Danita was right. She did not like me when we met. She did not want any involvement. I retired from Broadlands after 33 years. 30 of those were spent working out in the community. I want to speak to the closing of the Broadlands PATH program on December 30th of this year. PATH started in 1997 to support people with complex mental health needs, those at high risk of ending up in the emergency room, the behavioral health units, jail, and worse. That mission hasn't changed. The PATH teams have small caseloads, allowing them to be proactive, not reactive. They don't wait for the crisis to occur, they prevent them. They answer the phone when no one else will. They celebrate wins, and they offer support through the difficult times. PATH helps people navigate systems that are often impossible to navigate by themselves. With the state cutting supports like rent, energy assistance, Medicaid, food stamps, Meals on Wheels, those resources are getting harder and harder to find. Can you imagine trying to figure that out if you don't have the intellect, the skills, or the patience to do it? Let me share what it's like to be in the PATH program. And these are a couple of people of my team that we worked with. Because PATH isn't about just having a caseworker. It's a team, it's a small team. It's a team that communicates, makes all decisions together. And what's great about that is that no one person is responsible for a client's success because we can't control that. But on the flip side of that, no one person is responsible for the bad things that happen. And that's what sets apart from just being an individual caseworker. So one of the men that we worked with had post-traumatic stress disorder, methamphetamine use disorder. He entered PATH in 1997. He struggled with antisocial behaviors, cycled in and out of jails, was at risk of homelessness, and he became estranged from his family. It took several years and a lot of patience, but through consistent outreach, advocacy, and support, he stayed connected. When he finally was ready to make that change, the team was there with him to help put all those pieces together. He hasn't had any legal involvement or hospitalizations in over 13 years. He's employed, he's a homeowner, and he's reconnected to his family. He once told me, "I like showing up at PATH because of the connections I've made. PATH gives me a safe place to go when I need it." So it's not just the people, it's the facility itself that means something. Another individual who had been in PATH for over 15 years lives with schizophrenia and a substance use disorder. When he first came to us, he had an apartment, he had support, he had a part-time job, but he refused to take his medications and he continued to use substances as methamphetamine. Over time, his mental health declined. His family was overwhelmed and had to take a step back. He'd been hospitalized multiple times, spent countless nights in jail, and tried several group home living situations. You actually may have seen him out on one of the street corners waving a sign. So why am I sharing this story? Because that doesn't necessarily sound like a success, but he is, because he's a survivor. He stops by the PATH office several times a week to check in. The teams ensure he gets his medication. It doesn't cover all his symptoms, but I can't imagine him anymore without it. He has not been hospitalized, and despite ongoing paranoia, he trusts his team. That level of rapport, of trust, that took years to establish. And when I heard on the news that people aren't going to notice the change, that couldn't be further from the truth. How do you not notice a change when it's the people that you're connected to, not just the services that they can provide? You have to build and earn that trust. The decision to eliminate PATH isn't just a systems change, it's a human one. People who finally found stability are again at risk of falling through the cracks, and those who haven't yet found stability, those with severe psychiatric symptoms, impaired functioning, or serious medical condition, like the one gentleman now who has cancer, and he thinks that if he just takes some vitamins that it's gonna go away. He has no family. The people they want and they deserve in-person, consistent, coordinated, individualized care. That kind of care cannot be duplicated on the phone or behind a desk. I realize that continuing PATH in its current form probably isn't an option anymore. I am asking you to consider providing the funding needed to make sure that our county, Polk County, has access to services that are more intensive than those that are going to be covered by Medicaid due to these changes, and that those who don't receive Medicaid services, who don't qualify, for those hundreds of people who do not qualify for services, they need the help. I leave you with the words of one PATH client. PATH means never having to be alone. I would have already ended my life if it hadn't been for them. I've chased off my family because of my drug use and my mental illness, but they've stuck by my side through thick and thin and loved me when I didn't know how to love myself. I'm not an easy pill to swallow, but they are a great bunch of kind, caring, hardworking angels, and I can't imagine my life without them. Thank you.
Thank you. Go ahead, yeah.
Mr. Chairman, members of the board, the last thing I had planned on doing today was addressing you on any item. But I will tell you my disappointment is that my supervisor is not here to represent me. Angela Connell is not here. It seems to me that attendance at these meetings by the elected officials is absolutely critical. You and they need to see the faces of these people. They need to hear their stories, and then make whatever decision they're going to make. It's not like the supervisors are not compensated for coming to these meetings. You all make over 150 grand a year. You have 2 retirement programs. You just paid yourself, a 6% bonus, as with the other elected officials. And the fact of the matter is, these are your constituents. They don't work for you. you work for them. And it's important that the supervisors attend these meetings, and voice their opinions, talk, debate, so that we, as the voters, know where you're all coming from. Very disappointed, that Angela Conley and Tom Hawkins-Smith are not here today. And I realize I have not been here for a couple of months, and maybe that situation is an anomaly. However, I would encourage the chairman of the board to encourage his board members of the importance of their attendance. We need to know what you think, and these people need to know what you think. So with that, like I said, I had not intended on speaking today, but I will in the future. So
Thank you. At this time, I would like to ask if, Annie, would you mind, I think what would be helpful to everyone in the room and everyone that's watching today is if you kind of provided us some of the background on PATH,
Sure.
as well as what changes have occurred as a result of the system changes and where we are today, and maybe what our options are going forward.
All right, Annie Utes, Behavioral Health and Disability Services Department. The PATH program is one of our integrated service agencies that provides wraparound services. It's a unique program to Polk County. There was no other programs like it in the state of Iowa. When our department, I think it was about 4 years ago, all the funding changed. It used to be that county dollars were put into our department to pay for the services. And about 4 years ago, the state took that over and funds all of the services for developmental disabilities, intellectual disabilities, and mental health. They decided to do a realignment, the state did, and so it has transitioned into 2 different programs starting July 1. Our mental health services went to the Iowa Primary Care Association to oversee all of our mobile crisis, treatment, substance use services that were funded by the state. The disability access points, there was an RFP. We were awarded the RFP for District 5. So we now cover 14 counties. Instead of just Polk County, we go from Hamilton County down the middle of the state to the border. And through that new contract, the state has looked at all of the unique services that are provided across the state and have asked the new districts to look at all of those services. And for those that cannot be taken statewide, they need to be eliminated and shut down. So they have given us a 6-month transition period through December 31st to transition those services into, have those individuals who receive those services transition into other services. So nobody is going to lose services completely. It is that this service will no longer be available after December 31st, and the individuals will have to transition to services that the state has that are statewide. There is a fee-for-service schedule that allows for all of those services listed. We have been working closely with our integrated service agencies to develop a plan on how to transition those services. Stephanie in our office has been working very closely with all of them, and so we are continuing to work on that to make sure that everything gets transitioned by that deadline.
Can I ask some questions?
Annie, this is Angela. I have a question.
Yes.
Had they ever looked at PATH as a core service?
No.
Okay, so is that part of the reasoning that they don't think that this is important enough to have a service?
I think part of it is
pay for?
that they're trying to standardize all the services across the state so that people in rural areas have the same access to the services that people in the urban areas receive. And this would be a more difficult one to expand into that realm because of having, if you're in a county with 5,000 people total, and only a few of them get services. How do you create a team approach to that kind of situation?
Well, unfortunately, our folks in Polk County that use PATH, and I can testify to how wonderful PATH is, since I personally know of someone that has used it, and everyone that spoke today, I agree with 100%, and I can't believe that we will no longer have that program, or by December 31st,
Absolutely.
as you pointed out.
Yep.
So I would like to see if there's any way that we can make that happen. I don't know how we do that if the state is specifically saying that we can't. It's really a shame, but they shouldn't speak to us. They need to go to the state and figure it out.
Yes.
Angela,
I think our board would be 100% behind it.
Angela, one of the things I was thinking about as I was thinking about the kind of the situation we're in, obviously, because we can't offer a service that's outside of the program, but could PATH reinvent themselves as a nonprofit provider, similar to a standalone organization that Polk County could support in a way that it would continue to serve individuals with these challenges and still exist in maybe a reformatted, reinvented organizational style as a nonprofit going forward. And I throw that out because I think, Annie, you've made it clear that we can't offer a service outside of the core services and use tax dollars to pay for it, which really ties our hands in terms of a board, what we can do going forward. But this would be maybe a way that the program could stay alive and be reinvented to become a standalone nonprofit.
Well, the problem is, too, you know, this is a county hospital at Broadlawns, and it's out of Broadlawns. I don't know what the tie is between PATH, you know, the actual financial tie between Broadlawns and PATH. But there's got to be a way that we could work this out, because there's not just Polk County. Maybe there is, Annie, you would know this. Is it only Polk County people that are affiliated with PATH?
We have a couple of individuals who are from Dallas County that are currently in one of the integrated service agencies. And remember, it's not just PATH. There is multiple integrated service agencies.
Right. So if we go down that slippery slope of PATH, you know, carving that out as a nonprofit, we'd be in big trouble, I think. I don't know. I mean, I like the idea, but I don't know how we replicate that throughout all of these nonprofits that are not going to be funded now by this new law.
I had 4 questions. I think 2 have been answered. Why can't it go statewide? Do we have to remove it to be in compliance? I guess I'm also curious, how much does it cost? Because I liked your thought, if that would be a possibility. And also, how many other services did the state say, well, we're removing? You said.
Well, we're still working on, we're still working on some of them to not have them removed, trying to work on that. I am trying to think how many. We probably have about 7 or 8 services that we're going to have to eliminate. Integrated services is the largest one. It's about a between $5 and $6 million program.
This PATH is, or the integrated service?
The integrated service agencies are.
What was our funding for PATH in the past under behavioral health and disability services?
The amount, or
roughly, yeah.
It was between 5 and 6 million. I think it's 5.6 million, but
okay.
PATH is 5.6 million.
no, the whole integrated service agencies.
Okay. So
Now you're getting into like
okay,
me
yeah,
having to remember contracts.
And we're doing this all on the spot, and I understand that. So again, this is something, it sounds like we need to have some more discussion about and explore some of these ideas. In terms of your question about taking this statewide, these integrated services that have been eliminated were eliminated because they were
Unique.
county-specific, region-specific, and they didn't cover everybody in the state. So in order to create this uniform system under the state law, they squeezed these services out of the new
Correct. So
model.
some of the other things that are being eliminated, supported education, where Easter Seals provides support to individuals to go to college who have a mental illness. Our REACH program, which is at the University of Iowa, we help fund individuals with a developmental disability to attend the REACH program, which is at the University of Iowa. Some of our employment programs that we have funded are no longer going to be available. Transportation for individuals with disabilities that we have funded will be eliminated, along with Meals on Wheels and homemaker services. So all of those, I mean, we are trying to advocate for each and every one of them, and we may be successful with some. And the other big one is housing support. The housing support program that we have is also on the elimination list. I'm trying to think if there's others, but those are the ones that stand out to me. And so each one of those we're advocating with the state to try and save. And especially if they are in other regions, because they are for some of them. PATH program, the Integrated Service Agency, is one that is not in any other region.
How soon can we have a staffing on all of this and have you list all of these separate integrated services and know exactly what the state is eliminating?
Yes, we can do that.
Yeah,
how
I think
soon
that's a
can-
great idea,
do we know?
Angela.
I mean, we all have constituents that are counting on these services, and we all want our constituents to have these services, and we've paid for them for years, so we need to know, and I know you're doing everything you can, and you're kind of riding a fine line to try to keep what you can in the 14 region. I know it's tough. So whenever you're ready, whenever you think it's time for us to know, you let us know. But I think we need to try to understand exactly what is being eliminated so that we can try to figure out if there's a way that we can help.
Okay.
It's a big nut to crack, I get it.
Yeah, in August, we're having meetings with the state and all the rest of the district leaders to discuss transportation, housing support, those two main ones, because those are the ones that keep
Okay.
bubbling up across all the districts. So I'm hopeful for those, that we can continue those services. But the other ones, we haven't really discussed yet.
Annie, thanks
Okay,
for
so
taking,
maybe-
go ahead.
I was just gonna say, so maybe fall.
Yeah, we just need to do it before, I mean, we have to have them eliminated by December 31st, so it's kind of a
Okay.
weird timeline. So I'm happy to come and talk about everything whenever you want me to. We'll figure it out. So just tell me when you want to meet.
Thanks, Annie, and thanks for taking our questions on the spot. And honestly, this is a somewhat fluid situation because not all of the decisions have been made at the state level.
Correct.
And so some of these services could in fact be saved. And I think there are some options that we need to explore as we look at how we can support and use outreach for funding these types of services going forward as standalone agencies as well. So
Okay.
there's a lot of questions, and we'll schedule a board staff. And thank you to all the speakers from PATH that came forward today to share your strength and courage and courageous stories of how you've been helped with this program. And we heard what you're saying, and we want to take your comments to heart and do some good work around this. And we will we will be open to dialogue in the future. So thank you for being here. Thank you, Annie. Is there anyone else wishing to address the board? If not, I would move on.
Carol.
Oh, Carol. Yes. Good morning.
Good morning. This is a hard act to follow after this, but my name is Rochelle Long. I live at 106 11th Street, and I'm standing today as the founder and executive director of Taste of the Junction. And we just come to say thank you. And I know we're dealing with some issues as we have heard, and I just want to applaud Polk County for doing the dance, trying to figure it out, and trying to make sure that the programs that are important in our community, that some way you're finding a way to fund them. And when you support arts and culture, you're supporting organization like ours. It's called Taste of the Junction, and we do community building, curation and preservation, and cultural education. And so every year, our signature event, we put out a multicultural festival over Labor Day weekend, and it just adds to the quality of life. It's something that's free, it's open to the public. It's a 3-day festival. Look us up on Facebook, on our website, Taste of the Junction, and I'm inviting everyone to come, because it's one of those things that when you come there, it's a community building thing. And for a lot of things that were going on in our communities these days, we need events like Taste of the Junction, where people can just come together and just be. It's family friendly, you can bring your kids. And then throughout the year, we also have a cultural museum and a pop-up museum where we gather origin stories from descendants that came to Valley Junction. And Valley Junction was the place where West Des Moines started. So it's really a rich event, it's a rich weekend, and a nonprofit, and we would not be able to continue. This is our 13th year without the support of the Polk County Board of Supervisors. So Matt and to the rest of the supervisors, we really appreciate. I have one of our board members with us today, Dr. Mary Chapman. We just wanted to stop by and say thank you. And we know this is a rough time right now with you all that have to make decisions, and you realize when you're cutting things, it's real life things. So I thank you for finding a way to support the things that matter in our community.
Thank you, and thank you for your recognition plaque. And Polk County is so proud to be part of Taste of the Junction and the great work that you and the Long family have done for years in the Valley Junction area. So thanks for being here. Any other questions or comments? If not, I would move to permits.
Number 11, renewal application for Class C retail alcohol license with outdoor service area permit for Smokey D's Barbecue at 5055 Northwest 2nd Avenue, Des Moines. Holm?
Yes.
Hawkinsmith?
Yes.
Connolly?
Yes.
Altringer?
Yes.
McCoy?
Yes. Resolution.
Number 12, resolution authorizing auditor's office to publish notice of public hearing on August 12th on conveyance of unused and vacated right-of-way parcel located in the town of Farrar. Number 13, resolution authorizing auditor's office to publish notice of public hearing on August 12th to consider plans, specifications, form of contract, and estimated cost for Pastor Wetland Project. 14, resolution approving Pastor Wetland Project right of entry and temporary construction easement agreement. And number 15, resolution approving agreement with the City of Ankeny for the 4 Mile Creek and tributary stream restoration project.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call.
Holm?
Yes.
Hawkinsmith?
Yes.
Connolly?
Yes.
Altringer?
Yes.
McCoy?
Yes.
Numbers 16 and 17 are resolutions approving agreements for recycling services and refuse disposal services with Waste Management of Iowa. And number 18, resolution approving agreement for shredding disposal services with Green Resource Management doing business as the shredder.
Second.
Roll call.
Holm?
Yes.
Hawkinsmith,
Yes.
Connolly,
Yes.
Altringer,
Yes.
McCoy.
Yes.
Number 19, resolution approving opioid settlement funds for a reentry kiosk at the Polk County Jail in partnership with St. Vincent de Paul Des Moines Council.
So moved.
Second.
Move.
Roll call?
Holm,
Yes.
Hawkinsmith,
Yes.
Connolly,
Yes.
Altringer,
Yes.
McCoy.
Yes.
Number 20, resolution approving contract with the Iowa Department of Services for Care for Yourself funding. And number 21, resolution approving contract with Feck Steve Limited to address lead hazard repairs at 705 Clinton Avenue, Des Moines.
Move.
Second.
Roll call?
Second.
Holm,
Yes.
Hawkinsmith,
Yes.
Connolly,
Yes.
Altringer,
Yes.
McCoy.
Yes.
Number 22, resolution approving data sharing agreement with Iowa State University.
So moved.
Move.
Second.
Roll call?
Holm,
Yes.
Hawkinsmith,
Yes.
Connolly,
Yes.
Altringer,
Yes.
McCoy.
Yes.
Number 23, resolution approving Second Amendment to agreement with Axon Enterprise for the purchase of 241 basic user access licenses.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call?
Holm,
Yes.
Hawkinsmith,
Yes.
Connolly,
Yes.
Altringer,
Yes.
McCoy.
Yes.
Number 24, resolution approving Prairie Meadows 2025 Community Betterment Grant.
Second.
Move.
Roll call?
Holm,
Yes.
Hawkinsmith,
Yes.
Connolly,
Yes.
Altringer,
Yes.
McCoy.
Yes.
And number 25, resolution approving position modifications within the Treasurer's Office, Sheriff's Office, and Auditor's Office.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call?
Holm,
Yes.
Hawkinsmith,
Yes.
Connolly,
Yes.
Altringer,
Yes.
McCoy.
Yes.
Number 26, resolution approving emergency rental assistance 2 funding agreement to Anawim for repairs and maintenance on their 25-unit scattered site project. 27, resolution approving emergency rental assistance 2 expenditures to urban housing. 28, funding agreement with community for the development of affordable emergency rental assistance earnings. 29, resolution approving emergency rental assistance 2 funding agreement for the Junction Lofts 2 development. 30, resolution approving 28E agreement with the City of Des Moines for the development of the Cherry Street parking lot. 31, resolution approving OVG's fiscal year 25-26 capital budget requests for improvements at the Iowa Event Center. 32, resolution appointing individuals to serve as Polk County's representative on various boards and commissions. And 33, resolution authorizing behavioral health and disability services staff to enter negotiations to purchase property to create affordable housing using emergency rental assistance 2 funds.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call?
Holm,
Yes.
Hawkinsmith,
Yes.
Connolly,
Yes, I have a question though.
Go ahead.
Sorry. On the boards and commissions, what were those? I don't have that in my, I didn't have that in my email for some reason.
Partnership, Economic Development, and Risk Management Committee.
Okay, thank you.
Altringer,
Yes.
McCoy.
Yes.
Number 34, resolution approving a community development grant for Variety, the Children's Charity of Iowa. And 35 and 36 are resolutions approving Community Betterment Grant Awards and Community Sponsorship Awards.
So moved.
Second.
Move, speculate.
Roll call.
Holm?
Yes.
Hawkinsmith?
Yes.
Connolly?
Yes.
Altringer?
Yes.
McCoy?
Yes. Communications.
Number 37, Manure Management Plan Update from Iowa State Fair. And number 38, Manure Management Plan Update from Mud Creek Feeders.
Receive and file.
Number 39, Request for Tax Abatement at 4505 Douglas.
Refer to the assessor, treasurer, and county attorney.
Number 40, Notice of Appraisement of Damages and Time for Appeal in the matter of the condemnation of certain rights and land for Euclid Avenue improvements from Des Moines River to York Street project.
Refer to treasurer and county attorney.
Number 41, City of Polk City Notice of Public Hearing on Proposed Urban Renewal Area Plan Amendment. And 42, City of Ankeny Notice of Public Hearing on Applications for a Voluntary Urbanized Annexation.
Refer to public works and county attorney. Are there any budget actions?
None.
Appointments? Need a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Roll call?
Holm?
Yes.
Hawkinsmith?
Yes.
Connolly?
Yes.
Altringer?
Yes.
McCoy?
Yes. Any board comments at this time? Hearing none, we will be breaking for a closed session under Iowa Code Section 21.51C, and we will be arising at this time for the closed session.
I'll move.
Second.
Holm?
Yes.
Hawkinsmith?
Sorry to interrupt.
Yes.
You need to list out the reason under the statute.
Yep.
Going into closed session.
So this is number 46, closed session, to discuss strategy with counsel in matters that are presently in litigation or where litigation is where its disclosure would be likely to prejudice or disadvantage the position of the governmental body in that litigation pursuant to Iowa Code Section 21.51C. And I've got Holm was yes. Hawkinsmith?
Yes.
Connolly?
Yes.
Altringer?
Yes.
McCoy?
Yes. No, you're still on. You're still on. We're waiting for John to turn on the video. And I believe we're waiting. Okay, John is turning on the, John Cahill is turning on the video link as we're speaking. We've returned from a closed door session. There was no action taken in the closed door session. We are now preparing to adjourn. I would accept a motion at this time.
Move to adjourn. Isn't this move the closed session?
We are moving to end the closed session first, and we have a motion and a second to adjourn the closed session. Roll call.
Holm?
Yes.
Hawkinsmith? Connolly? Altringer?
Yes.
McCoy?
Yes. And now would entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call. Roll call.
Holm?
Yes.
Hawkinsmith? Connolly? Altringer?
Yes.
McCoy?
Yes.